my voice tonight because I'm doing the best I can. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN.
And finally, while peaceful protests can be powerful, if we truly want to reform our criminal justice system, then we need to come together and do the hard work of changing our laws and policies to reflect our values.
The hard work of burning a city down. That's the way to get it done, Michelle. Shame on you. Look what we have in the White House. Look what we have in the White House. Well, Oberlin College to begin with is an embarrassment. When you say Oberlin, you know, it has a certain meaning to it. Oberlin. What does it mean? Oberlin means a university, or a college rather, that brainwashes the children to the farthest degree of left-hoodedness. So she wants them to shape the revolutions of their time. Just think about that. Think about what that means. That's a first lady. Is that inspiring, telling children to shape a revolution? No, I don't understand how anyone can see that. By the way, Ferguson protesters are now protesting over not getting paid. You know, Sharpton is rent a mob type of thing. Well, it actually was true. Some of the protesters who looted, rioted, burned buildings, and overturned police cars in Ferguson, Missouri last year were promised payments of up to $5,000 per month to join the protests. Did you know this? It was a group called MORE, a successor to Acorn, and they offered them $5,000 a month to loot, riot, burn, and overturn police cars. I guess that's what Mrs. Obama means by changing the laws. You know, you want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. Well, anyway, when this group didn't pay them, they stiffed the protesters. The vermin launched a sit-in protest at their headquarters of MORE, and they're demanding their money. Can you imagine getting paid $5,000 a month for running around holding up a sign and burning down an occasional McDonald's? That's $1,250 a week. By the way, this group MORE is funded by liberal, psychotic billionaire George Soros. George Soros frankly should be arrested by Interpol, in my opinion. He's a roving maniac who is out to destroy this country with a vendetta I'll never understand. They say that Soros is a Holocaust survivor. Why would a Holocaust survivor who made billions, if not more, on changing money in the back of the temple, meaning trading currencies, why would he have such a hatred for capitalism? Why would he have such a hatred for the America that took him in from the Holocaust? I'll never understand it. There's no answer to it other than liberalism is a mental disorder. But there's more to it than that. It's all about money. Never forget that the thing that motivates people from top to bottom is generally money. And when you look at George Soros, you've got to understand that if he's funding these protests and they're becoming more and more radicalized, there's a reason for it, and it has to be money. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama tells graduates to shape the revolutions. Shape the revolutions. What does she mean by that? What does she mean by shape the revolutions? Does anyone have any ideas on that? Terry on KBOI Radio, welcome to the program.
Hey, Dr. Savage, nice to talk to you. You know, people don't realize that, you know, up until just the last 100 years, actors were considered pretty much outcasts of society. And
right. I understand that actors were considered fundamentally equal to a prostitute or a whore, in other words.
Right, and we've embraced their...
So then why in this society have actors been elevated to royalty? How did that happen?
Because...
if the actor held up as role models because of their sterling lifestyle, I could understand it. But usually they're the sickest members of our society with no saving graces whatsoever other than a pretty face and a good behind. So why is this? And why does it run from the White House to Hollywood, the same exact mentality?
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage. Warning. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
I'm going to keep it short. Number one, put God first.
The Alpha and Omega.
In everything you do.
Wait, you got to stop here. Denzel Washington, I've always loved him as an actor. He said put God first. We have a tale of two actors right here. We have Denzel referencing God, De Niro referencing Vicodin. In the last hour, we were shocked that Robert De Niro would show such bad taste. For a man of such good taste to show such bad taste as to use the F word several times in a commencement speech to get the attention of the children, insulting the parents and grandparents with his F word. I guess he thought he was in Harvey Weinstein's billiards room. See, this is the problem with some people. They get so powerful in their own minds that they think that everything is a continuation of their living room. So he didn't understand how embarrassing it was for so many people for him to reference the F word, De Niro now, and to also talk about Vicodin and Valium, even though he modified it slightly thereafter. And I said to you, what is wrong with our colleges that they're hiring such lowlifes as commencement speakers today? Where are the engineers, scientists, soldiers, priests who used to speak? Where are they? What happened to this country? And then we just found this one, Denzel Washington. Listen right now to a man who we all should look up to.
So I'm going to keep it short. Number one, put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. It's a gift.
He went on to say, when I was young and started really making it as an actor, I came and talked to my mother and said, Mom, did you think this was going to happen? I'd be so big and I'll be able to take care of everybody and I could do this and I could do that. She said, boy, stop it right there. Stop it right there. Stop it right there, he continued. His mother said, if you only knew how many people have been praying for you, how many prayer groups she put together, how many prayer talks she gave, how many times she splashed me with holy water to save my sorry behind. So there you have a tale of two actors. Denzel Washington referencing God as his inspiration. De Niro referencing himself and the lowness of Hollywood as his pathway through life. I guess it's the adage, different strokes for different folks. The phone number here is 855-400-7282. There's a big story, and it's a huge story, and it's a big loss for the would-be dictator in the White House. And you shouldn't overlook the importance of it. I believe it shows the system is working. He was blocked again. A major federal case against him will not permit him to go ahead on his executive action. They upheld the lower court, in other words. Federal appeals court refuses to lift temporary hold on President Obama's executive action that could shield from deportation as many as 5 million illegal aliens living in the U.S. Sorry for my voice. I told you I'm getting over a flu. I'm on the mend, but it's going to be quiet. This could be a 2-week job. I can tell you right now, I've never been this sick in my adult life. Never. I don't know where I got it from. These killer flus are running around, and I've always boasted about, the 3 V's. What did I say? Vitamins, vodka, and vitriol? Well, they all failed me. They all failed me. None of that worked on this case. Hey, look, I'm so honest with you. I'll tell you exactly what. I could have lied to you and said I'm getting better because I'm using only vitamins. It's not. I had to take penicillin, amoxicillin, in addition to massive doses of vitamins, in addition to homeopathic syrups to stop the cough. I mean, when I cough, my ribs hurt. I feel like I could break a rib from the coughing. That's how bad it's gotten. And if it wasn't for the homeopathic syrup, I think that I would have broken a rib over the weekend. So I'm using every known remedy, allopathic, homeopathic, and herbal that I know of. And I think I'm on top of it. But I feel, truthfully, my voice is starting to hurt me right now in hour number 2. And to be honest with you, if I had any sense, I wouldn't be on the air right now. But it's not the way it works. Either you're in for a penny. If you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. So I'm here for the whole show. That's all. If I didn't think I could do it. So I promised you that I would talk about a flu prescription that my friend sent me. And his name is Richard Cunyon, MD. I've known Richard for 40 years. He's one of the great unsung heroes of orthomolecular medicine, meaning nutritional medicine. I got to tell the story for a couple of reasons, because he knows more about nutritional therapy than anyone on earth. And a lot of it's been lost because of the rush towards pharmaceuticals. There was a time that this country was moving away from drugs and moving towards complementary medicine. That's all changed. What's happened is the government, under the Democrats, has now tried to destroy the vitamin movement again. You wouldn't believe it. The Democrats, once again, are behind trying to make vitamins illegal. Did you know that? I'm making a very political story for you. There was a time that vitamin usage was illegal in America, megadoses. And then that was all changed, I believe, in the early 60s. And to his credit, Orrin Hatch, because he's from a herbal-producing state at that time of Utah, he worked very hard to free these nutrients, including herbal remedies, from federal laws. And we've had a lot of freedom. Health freedom has been launched in America, which is why you're allowed to go buy vitamins and prescribe for yourself. In other words, it's given you a lot of power over your own health, hasn't it? We're not saying throw out all of modern medicine. You'd be crazy to say that. So nevertheless, there's now a movement now to restrain the use of vitamins, herbs, homeopathy, you name it. And so way back when I got my doctorate from Berkeley in 78, Richard Cunyon, who was still, I don't see him that much, was the head of the Orthomolecular Medical Society. And he lived in a large home on top of Pacific Heights, and he would have these sessions every Tuesday night with young doctors, some young, they were all younger, all in the alternative medical field. They were all medical doctors, and they were all medical doctors who took a chance by going into alternative medicine. And they'd have these seminars in his basement or his house, and I started to attend. Then he invited me to speak at a conference. I'll never forget it, in Los Angeles. It was interesting, at the Omni Hotel, I think. And that was the beginning of my relationship with this whole group of physicians oriented towards nutrients. And one of my best friends I met through that group, called Robert F. Cathcart III, one of the greatest human beings I've ever known. He died about 5 years ago. Great man, just all-around great man. And the thing is that Cathcart was an orthopedic surgeon. He wasn't a marginal MD of the type that writes medical marijuana prescriptions today. He was a sterling, Stanford grad, sterling credentials, orthopedic surgeon in Lake Tahoe. And something happened while he was treating people for broken bones on the ski trails. He found that those who were self-medicating with vitamin C while getting over a broken bone healed more quickly than those who were not using vitamin C. And he started to investigate this, and he found the miraculous healing properties of vitamin C, Cathcart did. And through him, I met Linus Pauling, one of the great geniuses of our time, who has now been forgotten because of the smear job done by the drug industry and the Mayo Clinic in particular. These are giants. These were giants. These men have a good body of literature. So, I've studied with them, learned from them, worked with them. So anyway, I got sick, and my friend heard it on the show last week, Thursday. I didn't call him and say, hey, I'm sick. What should I do? And he sends me a letter. Richard Cunyon, MD, says, hey, Michael, I would have called in your show to chime in about orthomolecular progress in treating viral infections, including flu, polio, Ebola, HIV, and more. But I have a time deadline, so I thought you might be interested in these ideas. Here's what he thought I should take for my quicker recovery. 1, I'm reading his letter now. Look him up, Kunin, MD. Selenium is depleted by the influenza family of viruses and others of the enterovirus family. This disables the anti-inflammatory system of the host and enables multiplication of the virus and the production of huge amounts of hydroxy and oxygen-free radicals, which cause membrane damage and optimal media for viral growth. In addition, the free radical burden disables the intracellular transport of B12, thus disabling the production of methionine and S-adenosyl. I can't even read this one. This is too many syllables for me. It's SAM. This disables the conversion of methylfolate to THF. This then interferes with methylation of thymine. And he goes on. In summation, Michael, selenium replacement maintains antioxidant function of glutathione peroxidase at the same